Why, hello there, bards and barbarians alike. Shams Nelson here from Fantastic Anatomy, and today I'm going to be talking about what I learned about drawing the structure of the human body. And what I mean by that is drawing the human body using basic shapes, as opposed to drawing the skeletal system, which I did in a previous video. And then in my next video, I'm going to talk about putting the muscles on this basic structure. But the basic structure is important because it's a simplified way of getting your figure posed and proportioned right and all that good stuff. From what I've noticed, I don't think a lot of artists draw the full skeleton usually when drawing out a figure, and if they do, it's usually a simplified version. So that's what I talked about in my previous video, like I said. But I think it's nice to look at 3D shapes and to kind of get your structure down. So in this video, I'm going to show 3 different ways to draw the structure, starting off with a boxy shape. So let's get started. I guess you could actually do the head as a box too. I didn't think about that. I usually keep the head as a circle in this simplified one, but let's just go with what I've been doing. So the main shape for the torso is gonna be this rectangular type shape, and below it you can either do another rectangle, or you could do what is this? An oval. Either one would work, and put a couple ovals for the arms. The elbow comes down right here, so this is kind of representing the rib cage, so the rib cage would be somewhere in there. But like I said, we're simplifying it. So I'm going to do it from front view and then side view, and maybe 3/4 view for some of them. I'll leave that till the end because I want to keep it simple to start off with. Okay, and then the arm goes down the elbow. So this is great because there's 2 landmarks. The bottom of here is where the wrist comes in, and the bottom of here is where the elbow comes in. And you use circles a lot of times. I've seen this a lot to represent the joints. So let's go ahead and do that, and then we can put another box shape for the hand. Notice like as if the thumbs would come off. No, just a box type shape to represent where the fingers would go. Okay, and okay, so we're doing pretty good here. This is going to connect, obviously. And I like to do these as separate ones because when you have more complex poses, or most people do them as separate, then this might twist, something like that, and then, you can work it out. You can still work it out, basically, because it's representing the masses, the main muscles. I mean, main bones. So the rib cage and the pelvis. They're just simplified versions of that. And then the legs would come off of here. Let's have them come apart a little bit. And they kind of taper down a little bit. Most of the limbs here, they taper down a little bit. I guess these could be straight, but here this tapers down a little bit. Circles for the knees. Tapering down. Circles for the joint where attached to the foot, and then like basic triangle shape. So this is probably the most simplified version of the structure you can get. So I mean, and then here you can put in the trapezius. Okay. So this is a little long here. Proportions are off, but that's if you're not already aware of what the Fantastic Anatomy method is we don't really worry about. See, this is way too long. We won't really worry about proportions in the beginning because that'll come more naturally in time if you keep drawing and study from reference and stuff like that. And I personally don't like measuring things out, but I'll give you the measurements anyways. But so one head down should go to where the nipples are, about where the nipples are, and then down here you could see like that would be the pec somewhere halfway down here. So the pecs coming like that. Another head down is about where the navel should be, and then another head down that should be the bottom of the pelvis. So if we're going to fix this up, it would be something like this. And this length should be equal to that length. so the legs are a bit short. And that's why drawing out the structure is really important, because if you just start rendering, like if you start from the head and just work your way down, by the time you get to the bottom you might notice that you've made anatomical errors or proportional errors or whatever like that. Um, if you want to call them errors, if you like them, that's great. But if you're trying to get like a really strictly proportionally correct figure, then it'll be too late because you've spent all this time and you don't want to go back and erase all the hard work you've done. But if you're just doing basic shapes, you can really alter them quickly. So see how I've kind of gone ahead and adjusted this guy pretty fast. And it's still not perfect, but it's a lot better than it was. Alright, so let's go ahead and draw him from side view, and then I'm going to, with the same blocky kind of style of drawing figures. Remember the neck tilts back, and then the rib cage tilts this way. So there's kind of like there's a balancing play between the figure. Oh, I guess it kind of goes like that actually at the bottom. So that's kind of like the rhythm of the figure from side view, and you'll see what I mean. So here's the neck's coming like that. Rib cage is going to lean this way. And then the pelvis is going to lean back a little bit. And I'll show you, after this, I'm going to show you the differences between, the main differences between male and female structure. And one of them is that the pelvis leans back more, so I'll show you that in a little bit. And then the legs kind of come off backwards like this. So there's actually kind of a bow-shaped curve slightly. This is probably a little exaggerated, but that's okay. And it's nice, this is a simple method because it stays very similar, like same tapering shape, same the circle, same square, square, here's a circle, square coming down to about here, coming down to about here. So he's holding his hand very stiff. This should probably come forward a little bit like that, a more natural pose. Something like that. You connect them. The pecs would come over like that. So this one head down here to the nipples, one head down to about the navel, so one head down to here. So again, I made the same mistake of moving the pelvis too far down. And I've noticed, I think most artists will have things like this, but each artist is unique in what they tend to do wrong, if you want to, or they tend to like err towards, like me, apparently I tend to err towards making this gap too big. So then now that I've kind of, become aware of that. And now it looks way too small. Because his arm seems way too short. Alright, whatever. I think you get the point though. You gotta just keep working on the proportions, and that's a whole nother. There are lots of good videos and resources that show the proportions, so I just want to keep sticking with the structure. And I should speed things along because we still got two other ways of drawing the structure of the figure to go through. So I'll just talk about the female anatomy real quick. So let's do front view and side view. Okay. So the first thing is the shoulders are less broad, so this is going to be a little longer and a little less wide. I'll just try to do this quickly. I'll leave a little smaller gap. The pelvis is wider, so it could be kind of like this shape, perhaps, or a wider circle. Apparently the arms are a little shorter. I read that somewhere. I'm not exactly sure how much shorter or anything like that, but not that significant if it is any shorter. So, but I'll mention that since it's something. And then, yeah, that's pretty much it, I guess. The limbs are going to be more thin in general. And yeah, something like that. So when you connect this, I think the belly button's a little I don't want to say. It's either a little higher or lower. I don't want to give you the wrong info. And of course, uh, females have breasts. And you can kind of draw them in like a triangle shape like this, like just because they connect in that kind of up at this point. So that would be the basic difference from front view. And then from side view, um, the tilts are more. So the tilt of the pelvis going backwards is much more exaggerated. See how this is almost straight up and down? This is going back more. And so the front, the rib cage is also more exaggerated to compensate for that a little bit. Okay. Alright. This might not look very good. Alright, I'm going to pull the arms back just to keep it out of the way. And actually, I think that's it. Is that it? Okay. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Um, Alright, I don't want to draw the breast because I'm not good at that. I gotta work on that. I haven't really been working on my female anatomy that much. So, yeah. Alright, so good. So, I'm not going to talk about the female body anymore because obviously that's not my strong suit and it's just a couple different tweaks. But so, for the other two ways I'm going to show structure, I'll show it on the male. So, the second way to do it is with more rounded forms. And this might be so instead of using a square as the rib cage, we're going to use a circle. And here we can use a softer shape like this, or you could use a circle as well. Um, but I like to use this because it's more like accurate towards what the pelvis looks like. And we can still use the, okay, we could actually have the arms come straight off the rib cage if you make it, if you want to do it that way, like so, kind of just have them connect. No, I don't like that. I've seen that done before and it's not working for me, so I won't. Had it working for me for a little bit, but I think having the shoulders, and you can think about, okay, here's the clavicles attached to the shoulders. Okay, rib cage comes like that. Pec muscles are just above that area. And like that. The obliques are going to come right up to this. Come down into here. And then let's say you're doing, okay, so the legs, you could do them round like this, tapering down, and then just have the bottom parts come right off. And this area is going to represent the knee. So if you were to draw more muscles in there, something like that. And then for the foot area, I like to have, because, oh yeah, I like the last method the best. Should have mentioned that earlier to keep you guys intrigued, staying till the last second, savoring every moment of this. But yeah, I like the last method the best. I saved the best for last. And so here, so this goes down, and then just kind of treat this as one kind of rounded mass. It's kind of backwards, in my opinion. How I do it is where here, see here, this one completes and these come out from behind. This one, it's the bottom, because I kind of equate the forearm to the shin and the thigh to the upper arm. Like in general, there are lots of similarities because there's two bones in here, etc., etc. Ball and socket joint, stuff like that. But in this case, I like to draw the forearm as the one mass here, and sometimes we even like draw the forearm first and then connect this. So if you want to get the forearm, like let's say you have the arm coming off like this, so you could draw the forearm. Say, okay, I got it. Like this guy's holding something maybe, and then you kind of just connect it. And then this arm is, let's say the forearm, you want his arm out here. And then, so then you're like, oh, okay, so then I'll connect it like that. But then see that I made that too long, so I have to adjust. So that's the downside of using that method. It's like a drunk guy at a bar, like, hey, what's up, brother? What up? Alright. Actually, I'll just leave that, why not? So I'm not going to show too many different poses, so I guess that's like some kind of reference. Actually, no. I'm going to get rid of it because I want to draw the side view right next to that. Peace out, bro. Alright, cool. So, side view, you could have the head kind of like a more bean type shape, and then the rib cage is a rounder shape. In this, we're rounding the forms here. Again, another soft, like that kind of shape, but softened up. And this is too far back for a male, so let me fix that up. Let's do it like that. Okay. Cool. That goes down like that. There's a kind of a subtle S curve to the leg. So you follow that down. Oh, and then the feet. Actually, there's another way to do the feet that I like. Put a circle here and a circle there. Let me actually redo the feet on this one. So I like this way of doing feet. I just kind of put a circle here, circle there. That's like where all the toes would be basically. And then I kind of connect that. So that kind of gives me the perspective, not the perspective. Yeah, the perspective, I guess, or the foreshortening. So here, like something like that. See what I'm saying? And with the arms, a circle. Alright, I guess these just come out like that, whatever. I don't really have a great trick. I mean, the hands, for the hands. Alright, cool. Not too bad, not too bad. Alright. Same with the arms. I'm going to pull them back on this pose. Alright. Cool. So that's kind of the softer method. So instead of using square shapes or blocky shapes, you've got softer shapes like that. And I guess let's do a 3/4 real quick in this kind of style. So I usually start with the rib cage. And and then see the head attaches out of here. So getting the head right is something I always had trouble with, and I'm still working on. Alright. Yeah, that's not right. Oh no, I shouldn't have done this. Now I've gone and embarrassed myself. Now it's cool. It's all about having fun and improving. So I won't be too judgmental on myself, whatever. Yeah. I don't know why. I guess it's not really necessary to demonstrate this angle because it's basically the same thing. I guess that's what I'm demonstrating. I mean, there are some things to keep in mind, I guess, but oh, with the feet, it's kind of cool. This will give a better idea of the feet. So there, just kind of make a circle. Like come out here, circle like that, maybe. Yeah, see, the head is horrible. Oh, bugs me so much. Alright, well, whatever. Let's go with that. It's a little better. Alright, so something like that. I don't know. Whatever. Cool. Alright. And this arm would like kind of go behind and maybe come out from here. You wouldn't really see it that much. And then in the next video, I'm going to talk about like putting the muscles on, how they all interconnect, and how to build this out more. Stuff like that. So I got to do my studies, and then I'll be back once I've kind of studied that better. But anyways, so it's a very sneaky preview. Alright, cool. And then the last method, the last drawing, let's start with a new clean sheet. Oh, by the way, I made the background light gray instead of a white. I thought it'd be easier on the eyes, and I know when you're working, you usually want to work on a tone surface so you can bring out white values. I'm not really doing that here, so it doesn't matter. But yeah, let me know if you like the white or if this is nice or easier on the eyes, if it's a little bit grayed out. I almost forgot I was working on gray, so that's good. Alright, so let's do the last method. So the last method is something I kind of like. You know when you come up with something, but then you're like, oh, I guess that's been done before, but you came up with it for yourself. So I think that's what happened with this, unless I saw it somewhere and whatever. But okay, so one thing is treating the pectoral area as like, I want to say a mantle. I'm not sure if that's the right word. Why do I think that's the word for it? It's like a medieval, maybe it's like a medieval thing. But like basically treating it, and this would be a good time to go into a little bit of what's it called? Perspective, 3/4 view. So okay, let's say the neck's coming out, and I'm gonna cheat and not put the head on it, so I don't have to embarrass myself again. So let's say something like that, and where it like comes over, and I guess you can't see it on this side, and then the arm just comes out. I guess you could do a circle, or you could just have the arm come out. Okay, wait, let's keep going. Then this goes down into the next segment, which is this rib cage area, something like that. Then you have this middle area. And then you have superhero underwear. Make sure to leave a little gap right here. It's important because the legs don't come straight out from. See, the obliques are going to come right here and come down like that. And there's this little gap here. So it's important to keep that because the legs don't just come right out. Okay, and then this is the most interesting part, I think, is how how the joints work with this method. So the leg, like, okay, so the muscle comes down like this, so it's actually a little lower on the inside. So keep that in mind, and then it's kind of like it's hugging. So from 3/4 view, I guess. All right, let's work over here a little bit too. Okay, come down like that. Superhero underwear wraps around. So see, you got that coming in there like that. All right, leg coming out. So from here, you'll be able to see what I mean a little better. Which is what I want. Oops, not very good. I feel like I had this better a little while ago. I've been putting off making this video because it just seems like so much information. I knew it was going to be a long one, and I was like, I want to get it perfect, and then I was like, no, I need to move on, study the muscles, and then that'll help me even refine my understanding of the structure and stuff like that. So I got to make this video to, basically when I finish studying like one, I have like this checklist going in order, and they correspond to the playlists on my channel. So like each playlist is a course basically. And oh yeah, okay. So here I like to do, so in this method, when I get down to the feet you'll see, but I'll talk about it now. The foot kind of is something like that. That kind of works for me to represent the foot for some reason. And that's like, let's say that's like in 3/4 view. So it's actually like, ugh. Not coming out right. Okay, let's show you from side view, and hopefully you'll be able to draw better than me. Something like that. Okay, we'll get to that in the other ones in front and side view. So let's just erase these because I don't know if I'm illustrating the point very well. Okay. So oh yeah, the whole point was to show how this kind of like goes around the ball. Like there's a little ball in here, and then this kind of wraps around, and this wraps around, and then also down here, I didn't illustrate that very cleanly. There's another ball, and this wraps around, so like that. That's how it's supposed to be. So it wraps around like this and kind of like hugs that. And then this one's kind of longer for a little bit. And I think this would come towards you, so let's do that. So this one, kind of like that. Something like that. Cool. It looks more or less okay. Okay. Alright, let's finish up 3/4 since I'm done. So then the elbow's the same way. How does this work? How did I do this? Oh no, I should have reviewed this. I had it like a week ago. I should have done it while it was fresh. Fresh in my mind. Alright, let's come over here and see if I can remember. Oh yeah, okay. So this should have, so the elbow, same kind of deal. These go around. And this goes around. And the hand is a tricky one, but I think that the it comes out like this. So see how this kind of goes on top and it hugs the hand like that. So the hand is like a kind of this shape and it goes around. Does that make sense? And then like it would come around like on that side like that. So it's like clamping it like it's a little creature biting down on the hand, more or less. Alright. Oh yeah, I think I made this. Let me check my little notes. Did I do that? I don't know. Alright. Cool. Whatever. I'm just gonna chill about this. So see, this hugs like that. Comes down. Hugs the foot. Which comes out like that. Like that angle. Da, da, da. Alright, let's get this guy done with more quick and sketchy. And I think when you're drawing the structure, it's fine. I don't know. Some people actually, I don't know. I shouldn't say that because some of the people who've got the most awesome anatomy are very precise at this level. But like you can, I guess, it's kind of like that's what gesture is, where you just kind of like throw it together really loosely, something like this, you know, and just kind of like just to get the feel for it. And then structure would be the next step where you kind of like, okay, refine it. And then after that, you put the muscles and all that stuff on. So it's a process. But I think it kind of also blends together. So you might be like keeping a little gesture in your structure and a little structure and you're using structure to inform your gesture and stuff. I mean, I guess it depends too. Everyone is different. So I guess I'll keep this over here on the side. Move it over though so we can do the side view. And then we can say good night, goodbye, fare thee well, and all that nice stuff. Alright, cool. So, oh yeah, and then, okay, let's see for the side view. So the head is kind of like this sort of shape. I guess, yeah. With this coming out. So that's how it kind of like hugs the neck. See what I'm saying? The same way like that the knee and the elbows kind of hug something. I was trying to get that feel for it. The mantle of the chest kind of goes like that from side view. So the arm would be there. Okay, let's come back to the arm. Um, so this is like the rib cage is kind of like that, and you can see the mantle kind of sits on top. So that's where you're like this part plugs into this part plugs into this part. So then the body. Well, actually, this should come over because there's abs. But for drawing the structure, let's say that it comes off like that. Alright, superhero underwear goes like this. See, it's like hugging the legs. Legs coming out, and then from the side view, it'll just come like that. You'll see a little bit like that, and this will come up like that. This will come down. See, this is hugging from front view, It's hugging on the side, so from this view, you just see it like that. This comes down like that. You know, something like that. Okay, and then the arm, same thing. Like, let's have it pull back a little bit. Again, same thing. You don't see the ball as much because these two are overlapping. And then on here, that's overlapping the hand because we've got it biting down on the hand kind of thing. I make like some kind of shape like that. I don't know. I'm sure there's a way to break down the hand into very small pieces to use the same method. So I'm pretty sure the proportions are off, the legs are way too short. But you get the point. And that's the important thing. I think you get the point. Let me know if you get the point. Or if you don't get the point. I'll try to do better next time. Alright, cool. I think that's it. So yeah, that's all for today. Peace, God bless, and stay fantastic, everyone.